All right, welcome to tonight's edition of Hopcat Presents Local Spins Live at River City Studios. I'm John Snigovich with the localspins.com website, and we are honored to have the Muteflutes in the studio with us tonight as they prepare to release their third album and brand new recording, Hideaway Love, this weekend. So please welcome the Muteflutes. We got Micah, Aaron, Levi, Adam, and Marie. I think I'll start with Micah because the Muteflutes released their debut album back in 2012, and from that stage until now, maybe you can explain a little bit about what's happened with the band, how it's changed, and how the music has changed since the whole thing started.
Yeah, 2012, we put our first album out, but I think we started playing together in about 2010. And so it's been almost 6 years, about 6 years we've been playing together. And so there's been a couple different versions of the band. So Marie's our third and favorite keyboardist at this point. And the other things that have happened is Chad Houseman, or Tom Him, as some of you may know, was our drummer for a couple of years. And then Levi's taken over the last 2.5 years, Levi? 3 years. So we've been playing with this configuration for like 2.5 years. And it feels like as the albums have gone on, we've gotten closer and closer to our sound. And so we're all very excited about this third album because it feels like closest to our personality and who we are musically.
You know, people would think when they listen to your music that it's an indie folk band, but you bring in other elements, other genres into what you do. How do you sort of visualize when you're writing music the kinds of instrumentation and the attitude and the approach that you want?
We fight sometimes.
Well, we operate the band on a democratic notion, and there's 5 of us, so there's always a vote, and it's sometimes a 3-2 vote, and some members of the band are more easily swayed than others, and so
some less.
And some less. Some of us have very strong, very, very strong opinions, and others can be swayed. So there's a lot of voting that goes on, to be honest. And so it's been interesting, this album, more than the first 2, has really put everything on the chopping block. So Aaron wrote a couple songs and brought them, and Marie wrote a song and brought them, and I wrote songs. But by the time we sort of throw it on the chopping block, chop them up, throw the spices in, it's like what we have created all together feels really different than what we each individually bring to the band. And there's a certain amount of, I think, trusting that process of going, I really want to do it this way, and there's 3 or 4 other people in the band going, I don't think that's the best way to do it, and trying to sort of trust the collective more than my strong feelings inside of me.
So if you had to describe how the band and the sound of the band has evolved, is it more of a rock band than it used to be? Is it more Americana-oriented? What, in your view, is different from, let's say, the first album you guys did?
I think the interesting thing is that I'm very much a blues-influenced guitar player, and Micah's very much influenced by like acoustic folk. Levi definitely likes more of a jazz-oriented drumming, and Marie is doing her own project, and it's much more pop-oriented. So that kind of all comes into play. It's really hard to say sometimes what we're gonna do next. I mean, some of our songs have like this kind of groove to them. This like one of them has like a Santana vibe, but then there's like spoken word in the middle of it, which we may play this evening. It's hard to know when we go into the practice space what we're gonna come out with. There's a song that we almost chopped off the album that was originally like a garage rock kind of a tune, very 4 on the floor, just kind of, and then it turned into this really kind of swanky, almost like spy groove kind of thing. So it's just, it's hard to say.
We've actually had times at practice where we're like, okay, let's try it like reggae style.
Yeah.
And okay, let's try like a 2-step country, and we just kind of keep playing until one of them starts to like, ooh, how'd that one feel? A little bit better.
I'd say we try to serve each song.
Yeah.
And I know you sequestered yourselves away in Michigan the last time to record your last album. What made you guys decide to go all the way to Minneapolis to record this particular project, and how did that whole process work out?
You want to field that one?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Darren Vermas was our engineer, and he actually approached us about working together. So he was our connection to the Hideaway, which is the name of the studio in Minneapolis, which is kind of how we chose our album title as well. So we kind of locked ourselves away there, and it was kind of nice to be away from home and away from families and away from jobs, and we could focus all day, every day, for 12, 14
And Darren
hours.
grew up in Michigan.
Yeah, and Darren's from Hudsonville, I believe.
Yeah.
So he always tries to keep his eye on what local bands in Michigan are doing. So it's kind of his pet project as well.
And the Hideaway Studio is one of the studios that he kind of cut his teeth on. So
Yeah.
he was very familiar with that. And
So did you guys walk into the studio with a passel of songs to play, or did a lot of that get developed while you were recording and in the studio?
we knew mostly what we wanted to play, and there was one song that we were hoping to get to that didn't get done, and we contemplated some instrumentals and things like that, and we just ended up focusing on what we felt really comfortable with and really happy with. And but it was mostly written beforehand.
And were there lessons that you learned from this particular experience versus previous recording?
I still wanted more time. I wanted like another week in the studio.
I will say that we ate a lot of dip from Trader Joe's.
Artichoke dips.
Like, do you know how many dips you can get at Trader Joe's? So many, and we ate them all that week.
What was your
Hundreds and
favorite?
Hundreds of
What was your-
dollars.
yeah, what was your favorite?
The feta dip.
Feta dip.
I like the feta dip the best.
And we were introduced to Aquavit.
Yes.
And that's a very, very interesting thing to try and record with.
Yeah. We had one night where we had there were some locals from Minneapolis who came in for the evening, and it just sort of happened they sort of all descended the same evening, and it was the evening we were doing claps and some background vocals and gang vocals and things like that, and we passed around the Aquavit and all took like literally just one sip, and it was madness the rest of the night. We're not sure what was in it, but it was. I think it made the background vocals richer and the claps and snaps even more colorful.
You'll have to decide if you listen to the album. They all sound drunk.
So if you had to settle on a theme that resonates through this album or an attitude or approach, what would that be for this particular project? I mean, is it melancholy? Is it upbeat?
It's way more upbeat, I think, than our other stuff, which it makes, I think, all of us happy because we definitely touch on really serious themes with our lyrics, and we still do, but there's a particular song that we battled. It's called The System. And we battled and battled for like a year and a half, like 6 or 8 different versions of this song, and was really heavy. And it's got like pretty serious subject matter, but it became this like upbeat song, and we're really proud of that. So I think that kind of is the direction that we hope to go.
Yeah, I think there's a tension in our music where we're saying really serious things, and in this album in particular, there's sort of a playfulness with it. You know, it's sort of the understanding that, you know, there's really serious stuff going on in the world, and then there's also moments to stop and play and celebrate, and those things exist, and that's confusing and difficult as a human. And I think that's what we try to capture in this album is both sides of that.
Well, let's celebrate. Let's hear some of that music. What are you going to start things off with?
This first song is called Racing, and this is a song that Marie brought to the table. It's actually the first cut off of this album, and it's like a duet, right? It's nice. Marie sounds like a Disney princess when she sings it. It's so beautiful. That's what Jeff said, right? A Disney princess. Just imagine like Ariel singing. When she sings it, it's great.
Open the blinds, tuck in the night. I can pull the covers up over our heads, or we can start moving, get coffee instead. Don't get me wrong,
Don't get me wrong,
if you get me at all.
if you get me at all.
Every heartbeat's racing toward the fall.
Wind in our hair, bells in the square. Everyone is smiling and saying hello. Sitting on a park bench till you have to go. Don't get me wrong, if you get me at all. as red, yeah. Late leaves fall slow, dancing just out of reach. Catch one, catch me. Sunday goodbye, see you tonight. Endings and beginnings just play on repeat. Salty when the ocean knocks me off my feet. Don't get me wrong, if you give me it all. Every heartbeat's racing toward. Don't get me wrong, if you give me it all. Every heartbeat's racing toward the fall. So this next song is a song called Just Like You. And I wrote about 3/4 of this song. And then I called Aaron one night and I said, Aaron, what are you doing? And he said, nothing, I can come over. And I said, well, come over, I got this song. I like it. It's not finished, it needs something else. So come on over. And Aaron and I, we love each other dearly, but we often have opposite opinions all the time. Oops. And so he came over and we sat out by the bonfire that night. And we fought and fought and fought all night long. And every time I would say, this is it. He's like, no, no, no. And every time he would say, this is it, I'd say, no, no, no.
That's a part of the tension is that I say things so figuratively and Micah tends to go more literal, and it's the whole night we figured it out.
The whole night long. And we ended up coming to a song that was really, really close. And then we were in Minneapolis, and there were just some lyrics that weren't sitting well with any of us, and so we ended up changing it. And this is what you get. Finished or not.
It's my favorite song.
Where the students, they are sitting, well behaved and at their desk. They standardize our children as they standardize the test. And the water that is flowing to our homes and through our veins, the poison we're all drinking, it hurts us all the same. I am just like you and you are just like me. All opposing views, just please have a seat. Well, the crops are all the same and have become genetic clones. The chemicals we spray on them seep into our bones. And the house is round the courtyard, filled with kids just getting stoned, while staring at their screens, together but alone. Until I am just like you and you are just like me. All opposing views, just please have a seat. As I look in your eyes, the fear that makes you cry bring tears to mine. 1,000,000 miles high, the sun shine. Looking past the sideway glances, Section 8 or picket fences, the distances and differences that keep us far apart. 'Cause I am just like you and you are just like me. Beyond opposing views, we're all just human beings. 'Cause I am just like you and you are just like me. But all opposing views, just please have a seat. There's a pain in my chest, it's not bone, it's not flesh. It's the questions that still have no answer. And my body feels numb as I quietly strum and consider things I had not factored. And I think that I may know, but a body, it does show the distance from the head to the heart. And then striving stops working, these feelings keep churning to places that feel too damn dark. And it's mile after mile, from my head to my heart, and then back again. And it's trial after trial. Are we learning through all of this suffering? And my dreams make some strong in my heart, keep it soft, 'cause I know I'd be fine if I could turn my mind off. But sometimes what seems right don't feel right at all, and I'm stuck inside of me. I'm so stuck inside of me. And now winter's upon me, and sometimes I can't see past the death in the dark and the cold. And then the sun melts the freeze and my skin starts to breathe a new life that is worth the unfolding. And it's smile after smile, well I'm up and then down and then back again. And it's trial after trial. Are we learning through all of this suffering? My dreams make some strong in my heart, keep it soft, 'cause I know I'd be fine if I could turn my mind off. But sometimes what feels right don't seem right at all, and I'm stuck inside of me. I'm so stuck inside of me. There passengers are trying to forget about the turbulence they felt over land. And all of the travelers are thankful to be alive. And if the plane would have gone down, with fear and regret in their eyes. You can hide and run and blame. You can curse and quit in shame. But blame is just a bitter pill to taste. Well, it might you reconsider. You know it's dark this time of winter, and I believe the light in you just can't be hid. If you want to have a go, well, I'll be there to reflect the glowing. If the weight is bearing down your back, you know this too shall pass. If you need to give it space, well, you won't have to see my face, 'cause too much weight can cause the crowd. You know this too shall pass. They can do. Well, it seems I'm still recovering. How about you? You know, daylight savings time has been weighing on my mind. We might lose some sleep, but we'll surely gain the sun. Well, it might you reconsider. You know it's dark this time of winter. I believe the light in you just can't be hid. If you want to have a go, well, I'll be there to reflect the glow. And if the weight is bearing down your back, you know this too shall pass. If you need to give it space, well, you won't have to see my face. Too much weight can cause the crash. You know this too shall pass.
So I've been hearing everything from the Counting Crows to David Gray to the Lumineers and some of the stuff that you guys are doing. Where do you guys draw your inspiration as musicians? Are there particular songwriters or artists who really sort of motivate you or have inspired you?
Well, I stopped listening to music in about 1999.
That explains it.
So I feel pretty committed to the late 90s, and so I appreciate that you heard the Counting Crows in there. That's wonderful. And so that's where I end in my musical influence. I stopped listening to music because I wanted to just catch the spontaneous creativity that was flowing out of me. I didn't want to be tainted by other musicians. And I also just have a CD player, and I don't really have an iTunes account, so that's part of it.
There's nothing wrong with CD players, or with record players for that matter. But I mean, are there other bands, or I mean, you grew up. You say you were at a blues sort of background.
Yeah,
Were there,
I mean, I would say for me, it's either that '60s era or I mean, '90s rock is still, I think, hitting me pretty good in some of these riffs. So I'm not going to be ashamed of that. I mean, I love that stuff. Yeah, I have a hard time pinning it down. Does anybody else have like a specific artist or something that they think?
I listen to a lot of electronic music, so Tycho is probably my favorite. I do love David Gray, so there's probably a little bit of that in there. A little bit of Coldplay in the last one. But I tend to like instrumental electronic like riffs, like melodies, and so that's what I try to bring into what's happening with all this, because there's so much happening with guitars. I don't want to busy it all up, so that's what I try to bring.
so I'm going to open it up for questions from our audience here. What is it that you're dying to ask the Muteflutes? Who has a question for the band?
I have a new favorite song, Reasons, and I think I heard it first maybe in our basement. So I want to just hear more about the writing process. There's so much that's relatable in there, I think, with like indecision and suffering and being stuck in your own mind.
Yeah.
Those things stand out to me. I want to hear where that came from in your process.
Yeah, so that song has a lot to do with myself. I'm the expert on me, and I find that I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings, and then also a lot of like sensations in my body. And I think that song is just a picture of trying to figure out how all three of those go together. And the line, sometimes what feels right don't seem right at all. And then later on the song says sometimes what feels right, sometimes what seems right don't feel right at all, and sometimes what feels right don't seem right at all. So I think that balance between this feels right, but it doesn't seem right, and this seems right, but it doesn't feel right, and that conflict. Yeah. And that line of my drinks keep them strong and my heart keep it soft, and know I'd be fine if I could turn my mind off, but sometimes what seems right don't feel right at all, and I'm stuck inside of me. And I think that's just that conflict of wrestling with that. Like sometimes my own indecision and my own sort of lack of clarity creates that tension within me, and sometimes I drink whiskey to help with that.
Do you write on the road? Do you write like locked up in your room? Do you write along Lake Michigan somewhere?
You know, I wish that there was a way to tame the creative spirit in songwriting, but it's not. She's elusive. And so sometimes songs come like a line at a time. And sometimes like, you know, you're like, well, it was a Friday and I started at 3:00 and I was outside, and so let's just do that again, and that doesn't work. And then sometimes you're like, I was feeling really happy, and then that worked that one time and it didn't work the next time. And, you know, so I think the idea of trying to like, for me at least, trying to like figure out any formula is hasn't really worked. So what I've committed to is just trying to keep pieces of paper and a recording device on my phone at all times, because sometimes it's been like driving along on a random road and a line just comes and it's like the whole song's there. It's like all I have to do is find a guitar, and then 30 minutes later there's a song, and then I've sort of slaved over songs for days, hours, weeks, months, and thrown them away. So I wish there was an easy answer to that.
There's no easy solution. And every song, especially in a band, I'm sure you guys bounce ideas off each other. And like you say, you fight over a song, or there's some songs that come really easily. You introduce them to the band and everybody knows what they want to do.
Yeah, for sure. There's songs that are like, oh, like we're an hour in and we know how the song's gonna go, and there's like Aaron's mentioned songs that months and months we don't get anywhere, or it takes a long time.
Anybody else?
So I feel like sometimes I hear artists who are writing songs for consumption, like they're writing something that people want to hear, and then other times there are artists who are writing songs that mean to challenge the listeners. How do you guys balance that? Because I feel like you're teaching us something as you do what you're doing, but also you're making it enjoyable for us, and it feels like erring on one side or the other can be catastrophic. Like, how do you balance that?
I think we're moving kind of like trying to split the difference with our new album, honestly. There are a couple of songs, kind of like Reasons, that are really emotive and intense, and more like maybe deep cuts that you have to really sit with. But there are also songs that we're trying to say, what would people like, and like how do we balance our seriousness with something that's really enjoyable to listen to and upbeat. I love minor chords, but there's so much fewer minor chords on this album than on any of the other albums, and it's hard to say, but it changes something, because ultimately music should be like uplifting. Whether it's
this is going to be where I'm going to have to disagree with you on this narrative. To me, when I'm writing, I try really hard not to think about how anybody is going to receive it. Like, to me, it's like this cathartic process of sort of like journaling, like almost like where I write it and I'm just like kind of blah, and I'm like, if it feels good to me, then I'm going to write it. And it doesn't mean that always ends up like in a Muteflutes album, but that's kind of how I write, just because when I've tried to like think about like, oh, I wonder what Jeff Helmus is going to like, and then I wonder what, Chris is going to like, it just sort of, it takes this process of what's so healing for me in music and art, and that's just to like get it out there. And so I'm really glad you guys like it, don't get me wrong. But it's not ultimately something that I specifically do to try to like people like it. So.
But those are our roles in the band, and that's kind of like the way it goes. Is I am the guy who definitely says, no, we should make that more accessible sometimes. Like that, and that's how it was writing that song, just like you. Like constantly, it was this thing of like, well, I just want to get this out, and I was saying, I want it to feel right, and right is so subjective, and that's my personality. But that's how we work as a band. Is it's like always this push and pull. Yeah.
Aaron and I have been married for 5 years, and we see our differences as an opportunity to grow as human beings, and not as something that frustrates the hell out of us.
But they're still together. And anyone else? So what's the driving force behind the Muteflutes? What is it that keeps you keeping on?
Yeah.
You gotta speak into a mic if you talk.
It's.
I would say, everything else aside, we just thoroughly enjoy being human with each other. Like, we love creating the music we create, and these guys have all incredible talent, but like, I don't know, Monday nights in the studio or when we're gigging, like, that's just a good time to be alive. And I think we're all, for me, and I think we've all said this at different points, like, to be a part of something where everybody is bringing something fresh and creative and interesting every week. And I don't know, we laugh a lot. We laugh a ridiculous amount. We probably wouldn't still be a band if we wouldn't like laugh through the pain, but we laugh a lot.
All right, well, let's hear some more Muteflutes. You're going to play this post-apocalypse love song, I think, next. Is that right? So.
I think we need to.
Okay.
There's a little discrepancy in what song I think we should play next.
Okay, all right.
We might need a vote.
Can we vote? Is that fair enough?
Well, you can vote right here. We'd love
gonna
to see
vote.
how this all works.
So it's either the post-apocalypse love, which you guys know that song? Anybody? Yeah. Or it's Worry About the Wind. Those are our options. So who votes for PAL, post-apocalypse love, and who votes for Worry About the Wind? Oh my gosh, it's a 3-3 split. John, you get to make the call.
I think I like the post-apocalypse because I'm not sure what that's all about. So I want to hear it.
Let's do it.
And we might still have time for Worry About the
We're
Wind.
sticking to our guns.
We have spent so long holding on to the thorny road.
youthful naivety gets choked out by the growing realities, and responsibility grows from the cracks and necessities. In our families and communities and careers change the direction of our affection, creating an unending collection of schemes and dreams too easily forgotten, left sitting and rotten in our high school yearbooks, and past left untook, and dreams left unlived, and gifts left undimmed. That just fragile love that once planted its roots in soil that was untested, determined to grow despite any understanding that the only love that survives is a love birthed from death.
Watch your head and now left me with little doubt. I know you might not believe it, but I hope you make it out. I hope you make it out alright. 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 I hope you finally find your light.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are we doing?
Worry about that.
Oh.
Change of plans. This is a sing-along. We'll let you know when we get to that part of the song. Try not to sing before then.
It's frowned upon.
The song is called Worry About the Wind. Fun note on the recording. This is when we had all that aquavit that night. And so when you hear the end of the song, listen. How many people do you think are clinking their bottles together at the end? Sounds like about 5,000. There's a lot of excessive clinking of the bottles. Only you guys know that. Between the fictions and the factions, beneath the blueprints and reactions, the government responds and we all go along, not quite sure what happens. Then the thoughts become the meaning. All these dreams I can't stop dreaming, as my head is in the clouds and feet are on the ground. I'm singing with the season, and I'm not trying to worry about the wind. And this river keeps on moving around the bend. There is enough to go along into the city with the silent song. Whoa, whoa. The cracks in all the stitches, where my sails are full of wishes, we're softening the skin, starting up again, just working out the glitches. Though the words they do elude us. Hey, let's not quit, come on, let's do this. It's my head, it all seems clear, my body's holding fear, you need something to renew us. And I'm not trying to worry about a thing. All this striving leads me back to where I've been. There is enough to go along into the city with the silent song. Whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Muteflutes. You've got to make sure you pick up their new album, Hideaway Love. You guys have a CD release show this Saturday night, 8 p.m. at Tip Top Deluxe Bar and Grill, correct?
Yep.
And you got a couple of special guests, including a former band member, right?
That's right. Tom, him, and Major Murphy are going to be playing with us that night.
Absolutely great. So what's the rest of the plan for 2016 and beyond for you guys? More touring?
Yeah, we've got a decent summer schedule, and we're still filling dates for the fall. And so we're so sick of recording and making decisions and writing songs that I think we just are all like really ready to get out and just play a bunch of music. And so if you go to muteflutes.com, that has all of our tour schedule there, and we'll keep adding shows as they come along.
That's great. Well, we've got time for another song, so now you're going to have to pull out Sway
John,
after all.
I was so excited.
So
I really didn't want to skip that song.
yeah, he didn't want to. I could tell Michael wanted to play this, so we're going to make sure he gets his opportunity here. You will be able to catch this podcast, video, and story at localspins.com in coming weeks, so keep an eye out on that website for more about the Muteflutes, and definitely, if you get a chance, buy the new album and check them out this Saturday night at Tip Top Deluxe Bar and Grill. And this is Sway from the Muteflutes.
Please take my hand, love, onto that pine floor. Dance with me slow until there's no more better words between. I'm waiting long nights to hold you this tight, so tight our two hands might feel like one once again. In the hour just before dawn, our bodies weary from passion's fury, and our strength is gone. Sway with me, sugar, and sway real slow until we're starving, or for a little bit more. Stay with me, mama, and hold me close until our troubles, they have turned to gold. But when the sun came up the next morning, I found my side cold, a lonely warning. Where could you be? I searched the house, I searched the meadow, I finally found you on that old dirt road with the bag in your hand. Oh, no, Lord, I called out, darling, oh, please don't leave me. You turned and called back, my bag is empty. And then you said, my love, you're all I have in this life. Just hold you, sweet, sweet, while I snuck out free to get us something to eat. Stay with me, sugar, and sway real slow until we're starving, or for a little bit more. Stay with me, mama, and hold me close until our troubles, they have turned to gold.
Thanks a lot, you guys.
Good night.
Thank you very much. Once again, thanks so much to the Muteflutes for being part of Hopcat Presents Local Spins Live at River City Studios. You'll be able to catch the podcast, video, and story at localspins.com down the road. And thank you all. Local Spins want to thank everybody that's here tonight to share this special evening. Once again, you can catch more about the Muteflutes on their Facebook page and website and beyond, and definitely keep an eye out for them and as they're performing here this summer. Thank you so much, and have a terrific evening.